Hello everyone. So here we'll be continuing the discussion of compaction, and I think this will be the final session as far as compaction is concerned. Just to revise what has happened earlier, we have solved a problem like this. I have explained you everything here. These are the two equations which will be of great use to calculate gamma d, 1 minus Na g gamma w divided by 1 plus Wg, right? So if the percentage of air voids is 0, then the equation becomes like this. Percentage of air voids is 0, that's why 0 air void line. So this has been used to calculate the last row values, and to calculate gamma d in a usual manner, gamma d is equal to gamma b divided by 1 plus w. That kind of equation is used to calculate the last but one row. The other things already you have seen, and then we get with gamma d values we get a blue line, with gamma d z a b we get a pink line. From the graph, whatever is asked you can calculate. Okay, we'll solve in this session two more examples, and then afterwards we'll see a bit of a theory. Okay. Okay, here there is a problem. This is from older question paper. Data from a lab proctor test on clay sand is as given below. Plot the compaction curve and find OMC and maximum dry density. If the specific gravity of the soils is 2.75, find the voids ratio. So that is what is the question. Okay. Okay, in the table what is given is water content in percentage. It is given 6.05, 10.5 and so on, and you should know that in calculation these values are taken as fractions, in the sense 6.5% is taken as 0.065, 10.5% is taken as 0.105 and so on. Now bulk density gamma b is directly given, right? Once gamma b is given, you know that gamma b and divided by 1 plus w, when you do, you'll be getting gamma d. So this is expression for gamma d calculation, right? Dry density is equal to bulk density divided by 1 plus w. This w, most of the students, they do 1 plus 6.5 equal to 7.5. That is blunder or absurd, so to say. So if this value is taken over here, the value becomes 0.065. That's how it has to be substituted. That is one important care that one has to take, right, as far as substitution of w is concerned. Otherwise you will not be getting proper values for gamma d, right? We'll see the actual calculation in the next slide. Okay, here itself. Fine, I'll remove this. Okay, gamma d, dry density is given by gamma b divided by 1 plus w. So one sample calculation I have shown. 14 is the bulk density divided by 1 plus w is in percentage 6.5%, that is 100 divided by 100 will give you 13.145. So what you can observe is gamma b is reduced slightly when you calculate gamma d, 13.145. Likewise, you calculate all the gamma d's. For example, last one, if you want to calculate, it will be 18.99 divided by 1 plus 0.265, or 18.99 divided by 1.265 would be giving you the value 15.00 or 01, right? So now with these values, once we know gamma d and water content, that is what is the plot, right? To plot the compaction curve, what we need is that. So we'll see the graph. Now here water content or moisture content is plotted on x-axis, and gamma d is plotted on y-axis. Now you can see that you can put your x-axis and y-axis anywhere on the graph sheet. Not necessarily extreme bottom and extreme left should be. You can take anywhere in between. And one more thing that you should observe is, as far as water content is concerned, 0, 5, 10, 30, all the values I have taken. But vertically you can just see here, I have started with 12 and then gone up to 19, because my range is hardly 13, in the sense, say 10 or 12 and then up to 16. Only 6 points are there, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you take from 0, please listen to this particular discussion. If you take the graph and then if you start with 0, these values will be falling in very small range, and then you will be getting a curve something like that rather than this shape. So if that should not happen, you have to choose the range. It is not scale, I am telling you, it is the range. Range is, I have started with, maybe here it is 11, the starting one, 12, 13, 14, it is equally spaced, so that I can plot 13.1 there, 13.1 with whatever water content, corresponding water content, 0.065 or 6.5 was the water content, and then 10.1 or 10.5 was the percentage of water content. If you want to see those values, they are here, right? 6.5, 10.5, 14.5, 18.5, 12, 22 and 26.5. So here I have plotted all of them. Corresponding values of gamma d is also plotted. So the plot should appear something like this. So for that you have to choose a wise range of values over here. Not necessary that it should start from 0, right? Even water content also similar thing, but it is fine if you can start with 0 up to whatever value that it has got, right? Now here what you should do is search for the peak and then find out the values of peak. Okay, here there is a graph. Now okay, there comes the peak. You can just see here, I have chosen the peak, and then corresponding to that I have to search what is the water content here and also what is the gamma d max. And now from the graph, at the peak on x-axis, OMC is equal to 17.5%. So this is exactly between 15 and 20. So I have chosen 17.5%. On y-axis, this will be something like 17.8, because it is between 17 and 18. Maybe a couple of lines are there, millimeter lines. So 17.8 kN per meter cube. So these are the values of MDD, OMC for which they have asked. Then gamma D, which is equal to G gamma W divided by 1 plus E, standard equation. From that I can calculate the White's ratio. White's ratio comes out to be 0.5156. Then by using equation S into E equal to W into Z, I can calculate S. That is, E is known, W is OMC 17.5, G is given in the problem. So substituting, I can say that it is 93.33%, means at this point it is 93.33% is the degree of saturation. It is not fully saturated, right? With this value itself, with this value of water content itself, if it is saturated, if those calculations are carried out, it will be slightly different. Those calculations will be seen in the next problem. So this is over now. Okay, here another problem, June July 2015. In a compaction test, the following results were obtained. Water content is given, weight of the wet soil directly given. You know that in core cutter method or in compaction test, we take the weight of the mold and minus the weight of the mold, so that you will be getting weight of soil. So here directly they have given weight of soil itself. Then they have said further, volume of compaction mold is 9.5 into 10 raised to minus 4 meter cube. Right? They have not given in millimeter cube or cc or something like that. Directly they have given in meter cube, whereas the weight is mentioned in terms of Newton. So if you take weight divided by volume, you will be getting Newton per meter cube as the units. You can convert always that into kilonewton per meter cube. So determine the maximum dry density in OMC. This is the usual part of the question. Also plot zero air void line with a value of G given as 2.65. We'll see the calculations in detail. Okay, here sample calculation I have done for one data point. Gamma B, the bulk density is given by weight divided by volume. That is the standard equation. So here if I look at the value, 16.67 is the weight of the soil, divided by volume of the mold is given. That's why if I calculate, it will be 17,547.37 Newton per meter cube. But if I convert that into kilonewton, it will be handy value, that is 17.56 kilonewton per meter cube. And this is for gamma B. Now corresponding value of gamma D, if I want to calculate, I'll use this relation. Gamma D is equal to gamma B divided by 1 plus W. Care has to be taken that W is substituted in terms of fraction, not directly in percentage. Now with this calculation, gamma D I have found out it to be 16.29. Okay. Now this is plain gamma D. Now gamma D with the zero air void are assuming that with the same water content 0.077 or 7.77%, if the soil is fully saturated. Means what? With smaller water content, if it is fully saturated, in the sense the voids are too less and dry density will be maximum, right? So how to calculate that? Usual expression is G gamma W divided by 1 plus C. E can be substituted as Wg by S, because we know that S into E is equal to W into Z. This equation we know. S into E is equal to W into Z. From that I can write always for S Wg by S. So Wg by S. Only thing is here degree of saturation I have to substitute as equal to 1. Or there was one more equation in earlier problem I have shown, 1 minus Na G gamma W divided by 1 plus E, or 1 plus Wg, sorry, right? So even that equation is also fine. Now here if I substitute S equal to 1, the equation becomes like this with full saturation. So this is only for zero air void line. This kind of expression can be used, G gamma W divided by 1 plus Wg directly. Now if I substitute all the values, I am getting 21.59 as the value corresponding to 7.7. If I take 11.5, look, just observe this. I have got with 0.077 21.5. Now if I change this water content, because all other things like G, gamma W again G, only the water content is changing. If I change it to 11.5, slightly the denominator increases, because of that the value decreases. That is what you can observe in the next, here itself. Bulk density values I have noted down. 17.56 has come here, and then gamma D value plain 16.29 has come here, and zero air white line gamma D has come 21.59 here. So all the three values I have calculated and then put them here. Similarly, other calculations if you carry out, you will be getting these values. So here I have, corresponding to these upper water contents, all these values. Right, the water contents range from 7.7 to 21.2, whereas the densities range from 16 to 22. 16 to 22 are the values. Right, we'll plot them. Okay, here. Now, if you look at the water content scale, I have put 0 to 22 full value, and then as far as y-axis gamma D is concerned, I have taken the range from 15 up to 22. From 15 to 22. Okay. Now, for different values of water contents, whatever values they have given, 7.07, 11.5, so like that there are water content values. For those water content values, right, if I take the first row, that is dry density row, 16.29, yeah, 17.5, that is there, 18.3 is there, 17.49, 16.94, 16.35, so that is the curve. So with these values of gamma D, I'll be getting a curve, this one. Now with these values, the last row values, if I plot, which is a zero air white line, I'll be getting this curve. Here there are points, number 1, number 2, number 3 over here, you can just see, number 4 is there, number 4, number 5 is there, number 6 is there. So you can just check out the values, continuously they are dropping, because of that the line comes down like that. So this is zero air white line, that's how to plot them. Now for the same water content there will be two values, that is what one should observe. Now for this also 11.5, I got this value as well as this value in the table, one below the other they will be, but gamma D with S equal to 1 will be always continuously falling down. Now from this graph I have to find out MDD and OMC and write it there in the graph sheet only, like that. Right, now that is the point to be noted down. Now corresponding to that, what is the water content? It will be 14.6 say, then 18.3 say. So those are OMC and MDD, optimum moisture content and maximum dry density. So at the peak of that gamma D curve, you have to find out the peak, and corresponding to that peak, whatever values of gamma D and moisture content are there, they will be referred to as OMC and maximum dry density. So report can be MDD is equal to 18.3 kilonewton per meter cube, OMC is 14.6, gamma D is G gamma W divided by 1 plus E. From that E can be calculated with S into E equal to WG. I can calculate S. Okay. Okay, couple of problems I have solved. Now there is what is known as Proctor needle, which will be used in compaction. That will be seeing it in detail. So what is Proctor needle? It is an equipment like this. Here inside that there is a spring, right? So this is the handle, like it looks like a cycle pump. right? Air pump. The calibrated stem is there. On this there will be chart, not chart, graduations. Then here there is a sliding ring, right? It will be always put at the bottom there. When you press it, it will be going up, and then when you remove it, it will be staying at that particular graduation, so that you can read the reading from there. Then here inside that there will be a spring. Then at the tip there will be a piston kind of thing, which will be referred to as proctor needle. Okay, here there will be number of needles with different needle points, right? This may be 1 centimeter diameter, 2 centimeter diameter, 3 centimeter, like that. You can detach this and then fix up new one depending upon the kind of soil. If you use a very small tip needle, in case of very soft clays, it will be penetrating too much into the soil. In such cases, you have to use broader needle, whereas if the soil is quite stiff, hard, so that you can use smaller needle, so that you get really considerable amount of, or reasonable amount of, so to say, penetration. Okay. Now, what is this used for? This is proctor needle. You should be able to sketch this. It consists, or it will be used for determination of water content at which the soil is compacted in the field. Means in the field the compaction has been carried out. Now how to find out the water content? You can take this needle and find out the water content. The density to which the soil is compacted. What are the ways how to find out density and water content? Actually, you have to go into the field, take a core, like core cutter method, take a core or sand replacement method, find out the density. That sample has to be brought to the lab and then kept for water content and calculation of water content. So it is a lengthy procedure to find out how much is the density achieved, how much is the water content used. Now both of these things are almost instantly done if you use proctor needle. That's the point here. Okay. Now before going to the field, whatever soil that has been used for compaction on the field, that sample has to be brought to the lab, and then you will be doing a kind of calibration curve with the needle. Okay. Then you have to go on to the field. You cannot directly use this. Along with this, you should have a calibration curve. Now all these things in detail I have written, will go through. Right? So proctor needle is used for water content at which the soil is compacted in the field, the density to which the soil is compacted in the sense already you are on the field and then you are on the compacted soil or compacted condition. There if you want to find out density as well as water content. So these are the two things which you want to find out on compacted field, right? So as the work progresses work is in progress, rapid methods are essential. Proctor needle method can be used for this purpose. It consists of needle point attached to the graduated needle shank, which in turn is attached to a spring loaded plunger. Needle points of various cross-sectional areas are available to suit the measurement of wide range of penetration resistance. Okay, so there is not much in that. Okay, here before using the equipment in the field, a calibration curve has to be developed in the lab. Calibration curve has to be developed in the lab. That is what I have told you. Soil is the soil which is used in the road for compaction. The same soil has to be used. Soil is compacted with known water content. You go on varying the water content and then compact it in compaction mold. Penetration resistance is measured by inserting the proctor needle in the compacted soil in the proctor mold. So in the proctor mold only usual compaction is done, and what is graphed is penetration resistance versus water content. Now how will you get? As the water content increases, the penetration will be more and more. So you'll be getting a graph like that, right? As the water content increases, you'll be getting more penetration. So more the water content, more the penetration resistance, more the value of penetration R, right? So penetration will be more and more as you go on increasing the water content. That is what you should observe. Now this graph is taken to the field. So on the field, what happens is when you press it, right, if it is able to penetrate a particular value, right, what you should do is you should go and search for the value of water content there. That is what is the procedure, right? I repeat the whole thing. In the lab, you will be bringing the soil that you are compacting on the field. You will be testing for various water content and particular needle penetration. Now using that, when you plot the curve, like amount of penetration on y-axis, right? So if I say that is y penetration, water content on x-axis, you will be getting a straight line graph like that. This graph you have to carry it to the field. On the field, with the same type of needle, when you try to penetrate into the compacted soil, suppose the penetration is so much. Now with this, you have to go on to the curve and then find out the water content. So this gives you directly how much is the water content, right? Also the densities can be calibrated. So if water content is, penetration is so much, what is the density achieved? Even that graph can also be drawn, so that what happens is you'll be getting the data. I'll show you further things. The penetration resistance for compacted soil in the field is measured with the Proctor needle. From the calibration curve, water content can be read. The bulk density of the compacted soil is obtained by core cutter method or sand replacement method, right? Even that can be done. Otherwise, even density can also be calibrated to the penetration resistance, and then density can be found. So dry density is calculated as rho d divided by rho b divided by 1 plus w. Rho is the density term, so that you will be getting in kg per meter cube or grams per cc, whereas if you indicate that as gamma, it will be unit weight, which will be in terms of kilonewton per meter cube or newton per meter cube. Both the things are similar, so you should be careful about using the notations, one and the same. But whenever you say density, you better say that it is in terms of grams per cc, and whenever you say dry unit weight, you try to tell that in newton per meter cube. Now the degree of compaction achieved, so this information already we have done. The degree of compaction achieved in the field is measured by the ratio of field dry density, means field dry density to maximum dry density obtained from the lab. So this is expressed in percentage, and also it is referred to as relative compaction or compaction. This we have done in the last session, right? So that has to be found out. And then if it is within the limit of specification, well and good. Otherwise, contractor is asked to do more passes of the roller or redo the work in some cases. Okay. So with this we'll stop. Thank you.